Three, two, one.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 16th edition of the Home Theater Hub. Got my co-host, Mr. Ike. Mr. Ike, what's going on, brother?
Ah, so far so good. Busy day, but good. I finally got that video out, right? So hopefully you got some
Just
chance
beat
to
me to
watch
the
it
punch. Look, I got
because
this
you've been bugging
up.
me on it, and I decided I'll go first so that you don't come at me with it later. So,
I got this thing queued up, and you already beat me to it. So
ah,
I was
yeah,
gonna make sure that we share this with everyone.
yep.
That
We
you
will.
that you got this video
I
up and
know.
ready for the Arvolution. But we'll
Uh,
we'll share it here in a little bit.
I have so much to say about that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I apologize to anyone if you hear me cough. I'll try to mute as much as I can. I think I'm coming down with a little sinus infection or cold or something like that. I got a scratchy throat. So I apologize for that in advance.
Yeah.
So what you got going on new besides that video, Ike? Anything new in the theater?
No, nothing new. Nothing
Nothing new
new.
in the theater?
No. Nothing new this time. It's just been quiet
The
on
Warriors put
all
a
fronts.
stop on that budget.
Yeah, you got to. You got to know when to walk away, right? Know when to run. But this
Absolutely.
this time I'm folding, so
Yeah, I was talking to John Anthony earlier on our Facebook Messenger, and he was telling me how his wife told him no more home theater gear. so, I,
oh man.
so I guess you don't have a trend off in your future anytime soon. Then
Yeah. He'll get it really, really soon.
what's up? What's up, Scott? Appreciate you being in the chat already. Thank you for inviting me last Friday on your show. Definitely had a great time. For those of you that have not checked out Scott's channel, it's Living It with Scott and Kat podcast. Go ahead over to his channel. Make sure you subscribe and show him some support. The week prior, Ike was on the show. What was that? Sunday. I think you were on the show Sunday,
Yep, Sunday
and
morning.
and then I was actually on the show on Friday. I think I talked too much for Scott, so we didn't get all the questions in that he. I think I talked too much for Ike too, but we didn't get all the questions in that he wanted.
No comment.
So thank you. What's up, Chuck? How's that Kaleidoscape going for you, brother? Uh,
Ah, we
I know
already started
I know
off.
you. Yeah, already drinking, right? Got to drink to that. So we got two other panel guests with us. You all know Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul, what's going on?
Hey, not much. Another busy day and regular life work and nothing really new. I've been trying to learn some 3D CAD stuff and that's going extremely slow. Shoot, I'm just learning my Bamboo printer really and there's all kinds of nuances to that thing that's gets complicated, like splicing stuff in different parts, making connectors and dowels, and being able to put 3D lettering and color, and having to, you know, say exactly how to work the filament, the flow rate, the heat, the temperature of the bed that the product gets placed on, and this is considered the easy one, you know. so but it's pretty fun. I'm doing volunteer stuff for one of the local schools, and right now I'm making dummy, like very blank generic Funko Pops, so they can put clay on them and make their own Funko Pops as a project at school. So
Okay, enlighten me. What's a Funko Pop?
Man, I'm all
the little figurines with the giant heads,
Oh, okay.
the little
oh
toys, and they say "pop" on them,
like
and
bubbly head, like
they're like little
bobbleheads.
action figures with giant heads. They're not bobbleheads; they're just
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
big,
I know
big
what.
square looking heads.
Ah,
Yeah. So you just Google it, you'll see what they look like. Lots of people collect them.
Yeah,
So
I think I know what you mean. They come in the box and like they're
Yeah. They come in like a little square box, and you can get them.
we got a
People don't.
returning guest with us also, Mr. Joseph, aka Kanga Siphonics Hi-Fi there. What's going on, Joseph?
I've been all right, recovering from my southern trip to Florida, which was awesome. Finally get to meet you in person. That was great.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
been-
Even though it was very, very short and somewhat interrupted. I
yeah,
met
there's a lot of stuff going on down there.
I met a guy on the elevator. Literally, he lives probably about. So I text Kanga, aka Joseph, whatever you want to call him, Siphonics. Um,
4 names.
so I met I texted him, said, "Hey, what floor are you on?" Right, because we were both at the Florida Audio Expo. Said, "Hey, what floor are you on?" And I like last week. I think I told you guys I didn't get there till late. I didn't get there till 4 o'clock due to traffic and wife and kids and everything else like that. So wound up texting him, said, you know, hey, I'll meet you on whatever floor. So as I'm riding the elevator up, there's a gentleman on there that asked where I'm from. I'm like, hey, I'm from Parkland. He's like, really? I'm from Coral Springs. He's like a rock's throw away from me. Like literally. I'm like, it took us all this way to come to Tampa to meet each other,
Yeah,
So
small world, right?
yeah.
yeah.
And then so he was talking to me and Joseph was walking down and Joseph had to interrupt him because we were talking so much and he's like, hey Don, I'm sorry, man. I just got a limited time because I got to go to this press event. So but no, it was definitely great meeting you in person and hope that we can do it at a lengthier time next time, enjoy each other's company a little bit more.
So,
Yeah.
so Kanga met Don, and he still came back on the show. Man, you're a glutton for punishment. I can't believe
Hey
it.
man, I gotta, I like my friends. That's why I'm here.
Some people like pain, it's
Yeah,
kind of thing.
that's true. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's fitting.
So
No,
yeah,
it was
what
a
did
great
you think?
event.
Yeah, well, I was just going to ask you that. Let's get your synopsis. They kind of got a little bit of my synopsis last week, but I will share some of the. I'll share some of those pictures again that I have. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to share from that show.
Quite a bit, actually.
Oh yeah, well then go ahead. I'll let you drive then.
I'll share. I don't know if I can share a link so you guys can open it. Would you like to control, or would
No,
you want me
if
to
you
walk through it? Because I can share screen
no,
tab, and
you
then we
can
can go through
share
it
and
that way.
control it. So just hit the share on the page you want to share,
Yeah,
and
that'll
then
be.
I'll add it to the stream, and then you can
Yeah,
drive.
we can
Okay,
we can go about it that way.
yeah. So let me do that now. Um, there you go. So you
So
should be able to.
yeah, so this year I was invited and had the opportunity to offer both photography and writing to basically any kind of vendors or magazines or any kind of media outlet. I had done some writing for a Canadian magazine before and wasn't going to be under contract or anything like that this year or for Florida. So I reached out and talked to Hi-Fi Pig magazine, and their hashtag is not boring. So I thought maybe this is a perfect match for me to go down and write for them. And this is the article that's now published. And because it was a contract, I don't have photos of my own to share. So this is my best way of sharing at least the photos. We're not going to read through the whole thing, but it is available. So I can just scroll through and talk about some of the stuff that was there. Yeah, Coastal Source outdoor speakers, really cool. They had I wonder if this is going to open in the same tab. Yeah, so they have a new on-wall version of their speakers, so that was pretty cool to find out. They have this coaxial sort of mid-range tweeter arrangement for outdoor patio, weatherproof, really cool stuff. It's like a line array, sort of woofers and ribbon tweeters in the front. Volti speakers. It's really, really nice stuff. I mean, one of the early criticisms I got was that a lot of my reporting sounded too positive, if that's a thing. Which I'm not sure if it means that they think I'm not telling the truth because everything sounds great. But I mean, if you were there at the show, I mean, Don, you were there, you heard a lot of the rooms, or at least some of the rooms, and most of them sounded pretty good. So that's what I reported on.
It's 2024. You got to sprinkle in some negativity every once in a while, man. That's kind of how
Well,
we roll now.
I think it's a natural thing that no matter there's nothing's perfect, right?
Right.
It's kind of like I'll give this example. Whenever I'm doing this training on the 3D CAD Blender software, they show like, oh, here's how you make a donut, right, or something like that, and you start off with a simple shape, right? And if you make that the donut, your brain knows that, hey, something's off about it. It looks fake. It's too imperfect. You literally have to go in and with that little circle, make it imperfect, give it bumps, and make it look like a donut. And that's what people expect from any type of review. And it's not so much that they want you to talk about it being negative, but they want like your opinion on it and your perspective, even, right? Even if it's good or bad. And like I have my favorite motorcycle that I own, and I could tell you the things that I don't like about it, but it's the motorcycle that I would buy over and over again, even. But
Yeah.
and I think it's just to get more personal, with people, because like I said, nothing's perfect. And if it looks perfect or something like that, then this is fake. That because
Right.
this comes across as fake, and it's not. They're not trying to be negative toward the writer or anything. They're just, people don't know how to say, well, it's not as personable. It feels more like people will come across a lot and say, well, it feels like an advertisement because you're just saying all of the perfection of the speaker, right? So
Yeah.
but you don't have to talk
I
bad
get that
about
kind of
it.
perspective.
You just bring in some of your like, oh, I like this, or even something as simple as like, brass isn't my favorite color. I would like to see that in a brushed nickel, something like that. Even people are like, oh, it's personable. And that's not really talking bad about something. That's really kind of, I think, where most people are truly coming from, even though they don't realize it.
Yeah. He's getting that and I guess my only response in a lot of it is, if I was doing a review, like a proper review of something, like my review of something, then I would make it personal. But when I'm doing a report of something, all I'm talking about is what exists. It's not supposed to be personal. It's like the news is not supposed to give you their opinion on the news. The news is just there to report what happened, the facts that are involved. But you get these politicized and one side versus another type of news, and it's an editorial. It's not a report anymore. So that would be my response. This is a report of the show.
Apparently,
and if people want to see a review, then
and hey, if they like your reports, then they keep having you come back, then it doesn't matter what someone else thinks, right?
Right.
There.
Right.
But
and that's 100%.
I just wouldn't take it as a personal attack. It's
No,
not,
of course.
or anything
I
like
understand
that.
people are confused
Dude,
when they
what is
say that
that?
stuff.
What is that?
Silverwood, isn't it?
Yeah, that looks pretty wild.
This is new, actually. It's one of the brand new name units. Unity
Wow.
Nova PE is a higher powered Nova device, or they've got the Unity device that's already existed, a little bit smaller. Now this one's got an improved power supply and a way bigger amplifier section, and they're actually using a Class D amplification, which is a big thing for name, because they've always been Class AB, and a lot of people like the name technology for that reason. However, now I've not seen it ever reported, so I can't tell you what modules are in it, even though I know which modules. And I'm going to say that they use the best that they can get, like the top of the line type of Class D amps right now. that's what's inside. So I can't say specifically what, but I did get the nod to say yes. Well, they used the best, and I figured that's the best thing that Name could have done, considering they're going to get a lot of old school fans thinking like, oh, they've gone to Class AB, they're going to ruin the sound,
Go
that kind of thing.
those locales. Those are beautiful.
Yeah, the Scala Utopia Ebony Blanc, it's called, or white ebony finish. So it's like a exclusive new finish. What I heard is actually the House of Stereo shop that's in Jacksonville, Florida, loaned these speakers because they're actually part of the shop or owned by the shop. So they're a big player in getting this all set up. So they wanted to be very specific about how the system came together, and their local dealers and network really came out and helped the whole thing come together. So
yeah, those look really nice.
Really nice. Sound really nice too. I mean, they're not the model itself is not too new. I don't believe there's a whole lot new in the electronics. These ones are new though. This is the Evo Aria Evo X series. Yep. So they changed the tweeter. They did a little bit more with the crossover network. I think a lot of the cabinetry is about the same, but it is a different tweeter. So it'll have a different sound profile from the older series.
Yeah, they're featuring a new color green too.
Yeah, this gloss moss green, they call it. Yeah. Apparently there's not really any production models around. So these were some of the only samples in North America when we saw them.
Yeah, I stopped in that room. Those sound sweet, man. When I was at M-Wave, they had them there. Not that particular color, but they had a 5.2 setup there. And I tell you what, man, they really impressed me.
Yeah. I mean, even the Cora line, which is a little the series below the Aria line, not Cora. Cora is the older one. The THEA is the new series that replaced the Cora line. Incredible value. I mean, they have towers and bookshelves, center channel, all that stuff. Really similar sort of sound characteristics, and for a little bit less cost, it's a really good option. I know a lot of people use Focals for lots of theater applications.
Yeah. I mean, the show is great. I mean, especially for the 2-channel enthusiast.
Yes.
One thing that I wish that they would do is blend a little bit more home theater maybe next year. There was only 2 rooms that were home theater oriented. One of them was the Dream Media Burleson, which was sponsored by somebody else, and then the SVS room actually had a 5-2-2 setup also.
Yeah. So there are 2 rooms with theaters. I spent a good time talking with Zach at Dream Media Home Theater and Nick and Larry from SVS about demos and home theater at shows and like what kinds of things that they can do. It seemed like both of them were very receptive to my ideas. And if you'd seen the Burleson room, I'm going to try to scroll to that room because I do have photos of it in here somewhere. I'm trying not to skip too much of this other fancy stuff, but and every time I come back,
you have over 1,000 pictures. So if we would,
I don't want to take up a whole lot of time. This product's actually notable. They have a plasma tweeter, so that purple light, that's actually a plasma tweeter.
Oh wow!
So the speakers are plugged into the wall. It's using high voltage electricity to produce the plasma, and then this signal creates the high frequency.
Nice.
That's great.
Crazy technique. They were using a compressed gas earlier on when these were shown, like a nitrogen cylinder or something like that. So now they changed the technique, and now they're using high volt electricity to do it.
Man, that just sounds complicated for speakers.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the technology is finally changing on some of this stuff. I mean,
yes,
we had the same technology, right?
Yeah, but at some point, I don't want my speakers as complicated as my processor, man. Like,
I mean, or your OLED. OLED TV is organic matter, just vibrating, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's as far as innovation is concerned and like a newer way of doing things. Yes, it's super expensive, the same way that plasma TVs were super expensive and large screen TVs were super expensive. But then as technology develops, I mean, we see a reduction in cost overall on everything. Cell phones used to be a backpack, and the cell phone you hold used to be the size of a loaf of bread.
yeah.
Now none of
But
that
they
is
used to
true.
but they used to last 10 years. Now
Yeah, yeah.
you get the smaller phones, but you got to replace them almost every 18 months.
That's true.
It's
Yeah, well,
almost like
that
pick your
they do that
poison.
as a matter of making money. You know, they make it
Yeah,
obsolete and do that
true.
just so they can roll over. That's a new development as well.
I
Yeah,
tell you
Yeah,
man.
I had
those 212s, the D212s that they had
yeah,
in there, man, those things. I just tell you what, for the
unbelievable.
orientation of those two, those subwoofers of the size of them, it's just amazing the output that those things put out, and the clean bass too. I mean, I was watching. I think I mentioned this last week. They had the Quiet Place 2 on there, and I forgot about how one of the creatures just goes flying across the screen, and man, that thing got me. It just whoosh, and I was like, "Ooh!"
Yeah, it was a really impressive setup. I had actually made mention of that overhead system where they mounted everything on the ceiling, and I had photos of my own version on my phone, so I showed them kind of like what I had going on. Pretty interesting that they had it set up like that.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the companies when you go to these home theater shows, I don't know if you've been to any yet, but
Yep.
they use that scaffolding and stuff like that to hang those over top now.
Yeah, like CES and like pre-built booths and stuff like that.
Yep. You know, go back to the Perlison real quick. One thing I want to mention is that processor. That's a new
Oh
that's a
yeah,
it's a new I haven't it's Premiere or whatever.
Yeah,
I haven't
Primaire.
yeah,
Premiere or something.
I mean, they have the amplifier and stuff. I mean, that thing sounded clean, man. It was. I'd like to do a little bit more research on that, but it was using Dirac. It's uh it's a new product to me anyway. I'm not sure if anyone else is familiar with it or not, but it definitely we kind of did a little dive into it the other day, but it's definitely a nice unit.
Yeah, the sound was definitely cleaner than the front display is here.
Yeah.
I must have caught them between sessions because that's a mess.
So where do you have this published, Joseph, so we can put it up for those who might want to take a look?
Oh, this is on
Do you have
Hi-Fi
it?
Pig magazine or hi-fi-pig.com, and
Okay.
it's under their show reports.
Okay. I will try to pull a link.
Yeah. Very, very fun people. Great time working with them. They just covered the Bristol Hi-Fi show. They cover Munich. They were at Expona last year, which is where I met them. Really great people, fun to work with, and their whole vibe is very friendly and eccentric, and just more excitement to the reporting their show. I saw like in their other photos they were handing out cupcakes to fans at the Bristol show, so they're that kind of people.
So I think that should be the link. I just put it up on the screen and in the chat so
Yeah,
people can take a look at it.
absolutely. Let me see if there's anything. I mean, this stuff is obviously my favorites. I know a lot of people know that I'm a huge fan of this stuff.
Like
The
the
Morrison Acoustics Audio Group Denmark equipment, just
they sound
I
phenomenal.
mean,
They really do.
and I have to keep encouraging people to. One of my most recent posts, even on Facebook, is to say like, don't trust me and take my word for it. It's not. Even myself, it's not enough for me to just read a report or a review and even from some really reputable hi-fi people, and then take their word for it, right? Like it's a bigger thing to go and listen to it for yourself, experience it, and really take in what hi-fi is in person, because that's how it's meant to be enjoyed. All I basically want to do with my material is to encourage people to go to stores and ask for this stuff, and go and see it at a show and meet some friends, and get back to that real, like, in-person kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So, quick question: those is it Gershman acoustics?
Gershman, yep.
Did you get a chance to listen to them? They look
Yep.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, I have, there should be some photos of those coming up here as well. So one thing I will show is these are the new ones, the new bookshelves. They're $6,600 US, including the stands.
Whew. Or
And
pair or just a single?
for the pair.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the pair, and from everybody's account, they say that they sound like they cost 3 times that. Like a surprising amount of bass, way more clarity than you would think possible. And it's because all of the technology trickled down from their other models, and they ended up with a product that far exceeds its price point. And I know a lot of people say that it sounds like it's more expensive, and that's what I mean is I can say the same words as 20 other people, but the real proof is going to listen to it. Go and really check them out.
No, that I listened. I got a chance to listen to those also, and they were.
I
They
see
were
their
definitely kind of-
checkerboard pattern on the cones. That's, I guess, the newest trend for all these
Yeah.
manufacturers. I'm like,
So
oh, must be in the milling process or the machining plants now.
if I can say anything about it that
I almost
separates
thought
them
those were
from
pro-listens.
a lot of others is, yeah, Perlisten uses the same kind of pattern, but they're not the same, and they don't come off the same shelf.
Yeah.
So it is a popular thing because it's very effective as an acoustic material. But between Perlisten, Borison Acoustics, there's also an Rockport Technologies also uses a pattern that's similar. And then there's an off-the-shelf brand, SB Acoustics, which Buchart Audio used some of their drivers, and they're popular in some other brands. So they all kind of look the same, but Perlisten and Borison Acoustics both make their own driver cones, and they're not the same at all. Even though they look the same on the surface, they're unique in the sense that, let me see if I can get a close-up. I can't get much closer than that. Can I?
Yep.
A little bit. So the unique thing about these that makes it a little more easy to understand that it's different is if you can see that each one of these lighter patterns, there's another pattern underneath it. It's hard to see without a really close-up shot, and I don't have one. But
you can see some kind of difference,
yeah, it's like a wavy pattern. So what it is the same kind of carbon fiber overlay, but underneath it, it's a sandwich layer of honeycomb, and the honeycomb structure underneath actually makes it more rigid. So it's 2 layers of carbon with a honeycomb layer in between, and that's what makes the cones different. And you can see that pattern through the surface of these, where Perlistens are flat, and other brands it's completely flat.
Yeah.
So on closer inspection, and to defend a lot of these brands where people look and think it's the same, genuinely it truly isn't the same off the shelf stuff. So
Yeah, that was just referring to, because they don't have to do a checkered pattern to do that. They could do different.
well,
Triangle
that's
or
like
circle?
saying
I'm sure they say there's some sort of audible difference, but it's I don't know. I'd have to see the science. The white
yeah,
paper
it's
on it.
if anybody wants to look it up, it's called spread toe carbon instead of like carbon fiber are circular strands, like hair is all circular. These strands
Mhm.
are all flat. So they offer more rigidity when they're flat and sandwiched. And that's why it's checker patterned like a fence. It's an interwoven lattice,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
flat, so that's why you
Do you
get
have
that.
Siren speakers? Do you have those?
Which ones?
The ones that I kind of showed last week, the siren speakers, the ones that look like the lady.
Oh, no, I didn't get to that room.
Oh, okay.
I got to this one because the finish is absolutely crazy.
That's like a granite or marble, isn't it?
It is. It's a natural granite. It actually came out of the earth like that. It's not finished. It's just polished flat.
Wow.
Jeez, how much is
That's-
that? I'm even
yeah.
scared to ask.
Yeah, that's a nice looking speaker.
Yeah. So
Man.
quite literally, there's no price tag on these.
Yeah.
The base
I would say.
model
If
comes
you
in a
gotta
different
ask, you
finish.
gotta afford it, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Exactly. These ones, because they're rare, there will only be 9 pairs. I think 9 pairs ever made, because that's how much they have in, like, when you cut it out of the earth, there's only so much that's available in the finish, and then that's it. The earth just changes. So what I got was there will be 9 pairs that are available for exclusive buyers. And if anything happens in the production between start to finish and something fails, there will be 8 pairs.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
that's
let me go order 2 of
rare
them.
these are. Their base price is $218,000 a pair.
Okay, that's
Oh,
not
well, that's
bad.
not.
I could get it.
That's.
I'll go order 2
I
of
mean,
them.
there's more in material than speakers in similar price. I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
marble is marble, man. That's expensive. Like it
Yeah.
cost you 20-30 grand for a marble countertop. You know, It's
Yes,
insane.
exactly.
So
And the benefits are just wild. I don't mean to be skipping over Gashelli Labs like this, but the benefits of having a granite material and like that resonant control and all of those things you want to talk about with stiffness and compliance and all that, they really are, when you hear them, there's next to nothing like them that I've ever heard. They're so clear and accurate. It's beyond words. So you get all that benefit for the weight. I am looking for the Gershman acoustics. The really cool thing about the Gershman acoustics is the way that they arrange. It's a separate module, top to bottom, and you're able to physically position the woofer in time alignment with the upper module, and they're not connected in the cabinet. So you can move them around and physically align them that way, and they're decoupled from each other, so you don't get the resonant problem between the woofer and tweeter.
Well, you definitely did a fantastic job putting this together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to observe, and I'm really scrolling quickly through it to get to the reference here. I want to get to show those photos. There's a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, I encourage anybody just have a scroll, take a look, and
Yeah, definitely. I think we put the
Yeah,
we
I
put
put it in the chat. Yeah.
so if you guys are interested in
reel
check,
to reels, that's crazy.
oh, these are the coolest things that I saw there. These Margulis speakers.
Yeah, those
are
look
these are really cool. It's carved wood, insert, really high quality drivers. I mean, all of that wood all the way down around the driver, the badge logo, everything angled that way reminded me of like a Lamborghini.
Yeah, that's
even though
exactly
they're
what
made
I
in
was.
Mexico.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it looks kind of like a land. That's exactly what I thought. It's just missing the bull on there.
Yeah, even the shape of the badge is similar to the Lamborghini badge.
yeah, I
And
saw
really
any
good stuff.
speaker cables? Did you see any? I
There's
just
a-
want to see
there's
those
a siren there.
premium speaker cables, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
lots of
seen
speaker
this
cable
last
stuff.
time. This is pretty wild. Yeah,
Yeah,
the spaceship looking amps.
what did we say last week?
There's the nipples.
Yeah,
Nipple hi-fi.
yeah.
that's
I
it.
forget
So-
what it was.
The interesting thing about this, and the designer is obviously a genius for this reason, it's a two-way amplifier, so the left and right channel are completely balanced, and it's electrostatic headphones. Those are the Stax SX 9000, I think, the top of the line electrostatic. So they're really powerful headphone amplifiers, and they're balanced. So you have to turn both volumes at the same time to get the proper volume. So you have to physically grab both of them at the same time in order to get the balance to work.
Yeah,
Can't put it with
that's
one
not
without the other.
suggestive at all. It's just, it's just speakers, man.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah.
If you're playing with one, the other one's got to feel hard too. So
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you don't want to leave one of them out.
yeah, got to get them both at attention.
Yeah, there's
I'm
too much
I'm
stuff
about to
here for
hit
me
the
to-
reset button.
Oh goodness.
Now, are those side firing horns? That's what they look like up there.
These ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So give me a
Wow.
second here. My throat's all messed up.
That looks
Yeah.
pretty neat because it looks
So those
like
are
surround
it's a
array.
3D printed housing for the tweeter, and it's a 2-inch. They're 2-inch mid ranges that fire into the room. So you
And
get
what's
like a
the
really wide
cone?
open sound stage with
Yeah. So
reflections
is that a
around the room.
cone? Is that a speaker inside the cone area as well?
Tweeter inside.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
That's
tweeter
pretty
inside fires forward. The mid ranges fire outside and around into the room, giving you like a really open live kind of sound.
Gotcha.
And then
Okay.
side firing woofers on the bigger ones, and then just a front facing woofer for the small ones.
That's cool. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Yeah. I just like anything that looks different. I like to look at because it's it's just
And I
different.
got this shot because this upper module is actually decoupled from the cabinet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Hey, I want to say thanks to Rich and Mike for being in the chat. Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
A couple of I'm still trying to find those speakers, my man. These are the coolest speakers. Most transparent at the show.
Ha, ha, ha.
Ha ha ha. Somebody said it in the room, and it's actually in my article as well.
Yeah, there seems to be a team for that
That-
show.
that is-
I would like to be there
no.
next year.
Really cool stuff. Technology's all online. You can check that stuff out. You guys would be extremely surprised to see these speakers in my report.
M101.
That one was, yeah.
Yeah, these cables are amazing. Let me get the so there's a
Oh.
so it's actually air suspension, air induct or isolated. So the strands are all wired and pulled through this lattice, and then they're covered in the nylon, or I think it's nylon anyways, cover, so you can't touch them. But all of the strands are actually separated by air instead of some sort of a housing or Teflon or whatever the materials for. A lot of the fancier cable manufacturers will use to keep the cable isolated. They're using air as a
Phone line.
isolator. So I don't know how that works to like the geometry is said to actually cancel out radio frequencies because they're all interwoven and braided in such a way that radio frequencies cancel out. I don't know the science of it. That's just what they say.
Yeah, that looks like your old switchboard. Your old telephone switchboard to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
dial
was
0
looking
to
at
the
that
operator.
and I'm like, I don't know. The photo looks like those are smaller wires than they probably are. Okay, yeah. That one photo made it look very tiny. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
they're
over there on the
about an
right.
inch and a half around, so it's a lot of
Okay,
space.
yeah. It looked
And-
like a little bitty pencil-sized thing.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
what?
please tell me they come with
There's,
this sign.
there's your Paul. There is your number one business platform.
Oh yeah, no, don't even say it out loud. I already know exactly what you're gonna say. Don't even say it. I've
Yeah.
totally thought about that. Completely custom, even.
Yes.
Completely custom. Yes. Mhm.
And please let it come with the stands too.
Yeah, the cable risers,
Or
100%.
cable risers, whatever they're called.
Yeah, I can't remember. See, that's the end of the article. I don't know if I want to make everybody dizzy and scroll faster, but I'm sure that 100% I covered the Gershman room. I
Definitely
don't know
appreciate
in which order, and there's no
So what was behind the black curtain that was covering up? Was that a window?
probably
or-
a TV.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the hotel rooms come with TVs mounted, and
Gotcha. Okay. It was just
yeah, they like to
yeah,
cover them
okay.
up for the
Just to give it some, just to
so it's not a reflective surface, and
Yeah.
they try to treat it that
not
way.
a distractor. Yeah, okay. I was just wondering. I was like, were they getting ready to reveal something, and I missed the reveal, or what?
Yeah, new flat panels, speakers.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
so
that's pretty
we can if you want, you can go ahead and find that, and then we'll repop it back up so that, like you said, we're not getting everybody dizzy
Yeah,
with this.
absolutely.
But so while you're looking for that, I just wanted to talk about Mr. Ike and his video that he just did. I don't know if you guys went to Easy HT Tech's channel today or saw it pop up on your feed. Well, if you didn't see it pop up on your feed, that means you're not subscribed. So that's a no-no right there. So make sure that you subscribe to his channel.
I know we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so we're slowly getting there.
So Ike featured the what is it, the Player One 4K Arvolution today?
Yes. Let me pull that up if I can find it.
So was it ready? Is that what it is?
So
Player One.
yeah,
No,
Ike,
no,
Ready
Ready.
Player, yeah, Player One, Ready Player One. Play. So
I
he featured that today with and did the unboxing and then went through some of the features and everything else like that. So make sure you guys go over to his channel and check that out. But yeah, so what did you give us a little synopsis of what you thought about this without giving too much away so that people have to go watch the video?
That's difficult, right? Because I think I tried to cover everything.
We
that
are
I thought
unboxing the
about in the
Arvolution
video.
Player One media player.
Oh man, we're gonna get copyrighted.
Yeah, I'm gonna sue, man. I'm about to sue the show, man. About to get my first $1 million paycheck. Yeah, but yeah, I tried to cover everything that I thought about the player, right? But I think in a nutshell, I would say if you already have media player that you like and that you enjoy and that is doing really well, I would say maybe some of the higher levels Zeus and maybe the Zapidi, you probably in no rush to go upgrade, right? But if I were in the market for a player, first time trying to buy one, I will get the player one, hands down.
Well, the question that I have with it
And there was even Future Ike in the video too. If you guys didn't see Future Ike, that was
Future Ike. Oh, that's
yeah.
nice.
So go watch that and find out. Yeah, I had to put that there last minute, right? Because I was like, what is going on here? Which is kind of, I don't know, man, because I think this is probably going to be one of the shortest lived media player out there. It's
Well,
like, even before people were able to get their hands on it, it's like there's a replacement coming. So it's like,
stop sharing this so that I can share something else here. And we can
Yeah.
go right into that.
So
do
so the question with the Arvolution that I have, when you get that, you have to sign up with their subscription service to get any of the metadata on any of your movies, or is that like some of these other, like an NVIDIA Shield or
Nope, it all comes with it when they
yeah,
when you
so
purchase the
yeah, so
Arvolution,
if
it all
if you
comes with
if you buy the Revolution player, it comes with it. So you will get the token that comes on the player, and then you sign up and register that
Okay,
device to the
gotcha.
R video player, right?
Okay, so there's not a monthly subscription.
No,
It's once
not
you
if you
buy
buy
it,
it. No.
just as long as their service is
So
providing the
now I
metadata.
know Paul hasn't watched my video, man, because I talked about that in the
Dude, I
video,
work
man.
during the day, man. Get out of here. You ain't
Jeez,
watching your
So-
video while I'm working.
My
So
goodness.
the only subscription is that you actually pay is if you own a Zapidi.
Yeah, if you own a
and
Zapidi and
you-
you want to
You
use
want
it.
to use this program on your Zapedi. That's when they make you pay for the subscription.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
even said to be free so far, from my understanding, for the Zadu, and when they come out with it for the Zadu and for the Dune player. So the only one currently that they're charging for is the Zapedi.
Yeah.
So if you purchase one of these units, there's no subscriptions. It'll do everything that your Zune player is doing at no additional.
and
And
what's
this
the
is actually,
retail cost on one of these?
I believe, $8.99.
$8.99.
Oh, okay. So the stand, yeah, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's comparable to some of the higher end
Yeah.
Z-Dos, like the 5000, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, and I mean, I do have the Z9X Pro, and
And
yeah,
this one has a hard drive in it,
yeah,
and
it
probably
has
XLR
16.
since it's the high end one. Yeah.
It has two HDMI inputs and
Oh
one
wow.
HDMI out, which I think is going away with the new player that's coming out. So
Yep.
that yeah. So it's interesting. The new one is supposedly going to support 32
So this one that I'm
gigs.
showing here is the newest one that's coming out.
Yeah,
So that's the Player One 8K, not 4K, but
not
8.
4K. Yeah.
So the one you reviewed is a 4K, Player One 4K.
Yep.
And I am really excited about this one, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm excited about this because my projector and your projector actually will take an 8K signal,
Yep.
right? So this machine will actually upscale everything into 8K, and I can run a HDMI cable straight from this to my projector and be able to take advantage of that. So that is why I'm excited for this machine. Will I see a big difference? I'm not sure. The
Probably
reason
not.
is you're talking about a 160-inch screen, so I'm spreading those pixels out further than most people, right? So the
Mhm.
more pixels that I have, the better it's going to be. So you know, I'm really looking forward to this player. I reached out to Raphael from Arvolution, and he's definitely going to be coming on the show when this comes out. He's going to come on and talk about the different players and different types of features that it has. But just to cover a little bit here, we're looking at 2.1. There's HDR10, Dolby Vision, um, HDR10 Plus. There's an upscaler called True Life Image, and I can tell you what, on the Zapedi there was something called Magic Pixel,
Yeah.
and the upscaling on that was phenomenal. I mean, it was just really, really good. I some of my Blu-rays, once it got done upscaling, it looked just like a 4K movie. So, um,
Now that part would be cool. If it has a better processor and it does better color grading and scaling and stuff like that, and you know me because I'm on here. They say to be able to perceive or to get the benefit of 8K on a 65-inch TV, you would need to sit about 2 feet
2
away
feet. Yeah.
in
Yeah,
order to
I'm
do
160 inch.
in order to if you're 9 feet away, in order to see a perceivable difference, you'd have to have a 275-inch screen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as far as like the processing and yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these devices, to me, they have their own, color, the way they, reproduce the color. So everybody thinks, oh, this is better, or this is better, or this is better. And most of the time it's just different.
Yeah.
So, but
I think
it would be interesting on, how much, because I assume 8K, they would have to have more processing and more RAM. And
Yeah, we'll get
yes,
to the technical
yes,
portion
and
of it down below.
yes, it does have more RAM, and also the drive is going to be 32 gigs, and I think you can
32 terabyte.
Yep, and you can do like a hot swap. You can also
Oh,
expand
that's
it beyond. Yes, you can even the 4K one. You can do a hot swap on it, and
mm,
you can even expand it to. Yeah, if you do the hot swap, you can expand it to 16 for the 4K, and then this one to 64. The only thing that I need to look further into though, that chipset for the 8K looks like it's the same class as the one in the Dune player.
Hmm.
And there seems to be a lot of complaints from Dune owners about that particular chipset. So I don't want to misspeak. I need to go look further into that one to make sure it's the same chipset that we're talking about here.
damn logic. That one.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
looked that one up on a website. It seems pretty cool.
Yep.
But that's a good call. If it's the same chipset that's implemented in another device and you're seeing certain issues with a different device, it
Yeah.
would be an
So
interesting thing to look out for that for sure.
yeah, except if maybe they kind of have gone out there and cleaned it up.
Hmm.
But I think the features are really great. And for HDMI 2.1, that's good because I think a lot of these devices are starting to plug into your processor and all of that, right? And
And
we
they have
know,
the Dolby Vision VS10 in here too.
Yep.
yeah, even
As well.
AV1 support that
Yeah.
that one was impressive, and
This
it
is this
supports
was
it
pretty
supports
interesting.
Auro 3D too. So ooh,
Yep.
This was pretty interesting to me. Also, was the optional DC-12 output for a different type of power supply for your audio file.
yeah,
So you can, instead of using the regular, I forgot what the jack is on the back of that they call the kind of rectangle jack with the two angled ends. I forgot what that's called, but um, you can actually use your own power supply for this, which was
That's
really
really cool.
yep,
So if you're using it for like SACD player with um if it depending I guess it depends on what kind of chip is in it. If you're using internal DAC output or just digital output, but definitely a good option.
yeah.
yeah, and it looks like it might stay the same price as the 4K one. So
Oh,
it's
that
good.
one will? Oh wow.
Yeah, so the 4K might. I mean, I'm interested to hear what Raphael has to say about it, but I mean,
SACDs. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Yeah.
DSD files also it looks like.
Yeah, so it pretty much plays anything you could throw at it.
So I wonder what kind of DAC it has.
It should say it in this.
I think there's information on the DAC. Let's see.
And this is the new one,
Mm,
right?
Yeah, this is the new one coming out.
So are you getting the new one to review there to compare?
Yeah,
Yeah, congratulations on a video from an old player.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's what.
the day you released your video, it got outdated.
Which is kind of that's why I'd say it's probably going to be one of the shortest lived media players, right? Because it's like
Yeah,
it's barely out there,
yeah.
So
I
people
mean,
people
they
often
offer, just like Zapedi, they offer different versions, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there
so
was the reference, the signature, so there's a use case for all of them. I'm sure that there's going to be a price difference between the two.
yeah,
You know,
I'm almost certain that that might happen. As a matter of fact, I hope that's what
Now, what's
happens because
all on the back of
not
this
everybody
one?
needs that feature, right? So it's
It's
much
got
more
two
streamlined.
USB. It's got two USB ports. It's got well, technically three, I guess. Fiber optic.
yeah, three 3.0s, which is good. So you can, if you want to throw external drives on the back of there without having to expand, to a NAS or whatever, it's got three of those, three 3.0s. I believe this one doesn't have the USB C, which I'll be honest with you, on my Zapedi, the USB C really gave me problems.
Really?
So yeah, it didn't work very well on the Zapedi, but it gave me problems. So I'm happy to see the three USB C ports, USB port, 3.0 ports on here.
Yeah, but they took out the two HDMI's. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other one was mainly for audio, so you can separate audio and video.
Yeah, separate audio and video, but I think you could also use it to network, right? Because you are able to network um, multiple player ones in your home theater. But I don't know. It's interesting. Just leave it there. It's not taking up any space.
Well, apparently it's an extra cost. It might not take up any space, but it's an extra cost
Yeah.
because you're looking at what you're looking at 2.1, right? So HDMI
So
2.1.
now is this the one? Yeah, I guess I'm confused on if this is the
No,
This is
this
the
is the
player one
8K. This is the 8K
8K.
version.
180K.
So the 8K version
Okay, the
is
one that
coming
you
out.
did is okay.
Yeah.
So the
So
one that you reviewed has this one doesn't
has
have
3 HDMIs. Yeah.
yeah, so it has the one that you did has HDMI dedicated audio out and
Yeah, I'll go to that one
Yeah,
now.
just go to that. Yeah,
additional
go.
out
Yeah,
as
click on that, and
well.
you can get to it.
That'd be yeah, just comparing those two is like,
See, there's the difference right there. So there's an HDMI in, like you were talking about for the networking, and then there was 2 HDMI outs also.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
now
mean,
those are gone, and the USB C is gone. That's
the
interesting.
USB-C is gone. The USB 2.0 is gone also.
Yeah, I mean 3.1 is still fast data transfer, right?
Mhm.
As same as almost the USB C. So
I mean, you don't honestly for movies you don't need a USB-C. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's like what 10 gigs. You know what I mean? So you don't really need
because
a 10.
that's a USB 3.1. So that's relatively good speed
Right,
for
exactly.
data transfer. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I hope they keep the player one the 4K version on the market because one, not everyone is going to need what they're trying to sell with the 8K version.
Very
Right.
true.
So it wouldn't be nice to have to force make people not force but have
So let me go
people
back to
pay
this one
for more.
because it actually showed the differences between the two
Yeah,
here. So this one actually breaks down the difference between the player 1 and the player 2. So you can see there's different processor, more RAM, more memory.
yep,
Variable refresh rate for the new one.
yeah,
Yeah.
because of the HDMI 2.1, and they're even trying the 4K, the 120 hertz output. That's so. This is, I mean, that's almost like trying to make a gaming device, man.
Mhm. Fast enough. Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
fast. You don't really need a variable for movie playback, but sure.
So if you
So
go up to the
I have one
processor,
question.
Opera most likely
is it
it's going to
running
be for the
dual
8K.
processors?
For audio, yes.
Okay. So the 8K one, that's one of the big advantages. So it looks like it's running the A55 and maybe the A76 for video.
I believe so, yeah.
Probably so, yeah.
So maybe it won't have that what you were saying, the same issue with that the other
Yeah, with the
device
Dune,
was
right?
having. Because
Yeah.
that one looks like it has 2 processors in it.
Mhm.
I think it's really an upgrade from the 4K, so I'm just
Yeah.
hoping that both of them will stay on the market.
One thing I
You
liked
know,
also is that you can convert SDR to HDR and HDR to SDR.
oh yeah, you
So,
can go
so for those,
backwards.
yeah. So for those of you that, including myself, have an older projector, I have a projector that doesn't accept the 4K signal. So, and it still works perfectly fine. So if I decide to, play movies, I can put that in the SDR container and still have a good color space with it. So it when it's down converting it, that's what the Panasonic does also. The UB 820 and
The
9000.
9,000, yeah. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what that price point. If this comes out, it's probably going to be the best media player, just based on the stats on paper, right? So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But based
Yeah,
on what we're seeing here, nothing on the market is going to match it.
yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, based on
Interesting.
what we see here, I don't think there's anything that's going to match it. It's just a question of what it does and how well it performs.
Hmm.
But
Interesting.
yeah, they put in a lot in this one. I'm interested to see what the price point is. That $8.99. That would be.
Essentially, the difference between the players really it was only a couple $100. Now the signature versus the other versions, they were quite a bit more expensive, but they also had a separate audio DAC, that with the Zapiti. So I'm not seeing that they're doing that with this one. Maybe they'll come out with another one later on to where you have that separate audio DAC in there also,
Hmm.
for audiophile DAC. But so I'm thinking, if I had to guess from being as a PD dealer prior, maybe a difference between 899 to 1500 at the most, I would think, because that's what their the price points was from the Neo to the reference. So it was like $900 to 1499 or something like that. So
Yeah, and I think Zidu has that UHD 5000 somewhere around $1,000, right?
yeah.
1,000 or $1,200. So this is going to be packing way more stats than that one, way more specs than that one. So I don't know how they're going to undersell that.
So one thing
But
that I did
it's
see
a
on here
pity.
that
So
definitely want to ask Raphael when he comes on about, there's two things. Is control system. I didn't see
integration with
an integration port or RS-232 port or anything like that. So I don't know if they're going to have an app for your Control 4 or your what Savant or what's the other big one that they have out there. So I forgot the real expensive one's name, and then also I don't see IMAX Enhanced in here.
uh,
Uh, you know,
Do we see IMAX Enhance
you
anywhere
don't
wait,
else?
see
wait,
you don't
wait,
see
wait,
IMAX in
wait.
hands anywhere.
Pump the brakes.
It's in
Pump the
our
brakes.
fantasy, man.
Because did you hear the news?
No.
Disney actually struck up a deal with Sony,
Uh, yeah.
and they're going to be sending a lot of their stuff to Sony to produce for them for physical media, and they were actually implementing IMAX Enhance in their streaming services.
Huh.
So why would they not pump up the IMAX Enhance? Because Sony actually announced 2 years ago that they were going to be producing over 200 discs in IMAX Enhanced.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen that yet, Disney just recently is basically subcontracting producing physical media. So I mean, it's very interesting some of the stuff that's going on around. I'm going to stop sharing this. So very very interesting some of the stuff that's going on around physical media. It really is becoming harder and harder to get. You know,
Yeah.
um, it's definitely going to be. I'm just going to share this here real quick for you. Pull that up. So Disney's outsourcing a big piece of its home entertainment division to Sony. So I mean, I'm hoping, because I'm really interested in the IMAX Enhanced, uh, which is I guess a better version of DTS, right? So I'm really interested to hear what that sounds like.
Man, I'm just glad there's Aura 3D on that thing, man. Because
Yep.
Because you're also supporting a dying format.
look, I'm a dying breed, man. So I
Yeah.
support, I support anything one of a kind.
But doesn't IMAX Enhanced by the default, uh, every speaker has to be the same? Like
No,
exactly the same.
Mm,
I don't believe so.
And I mean, I know they're doing processing to, make it, sort of match or whatever, but I thought that was one of the big things with IMAX. They came out and tweaked it, and there
I
was
mean, yeah, IMAX has a woofer for every single channel. I understand what you're saying. Whenever you go to the IMAX theater, there's a subwoofer or LFE channel for every, not a channel. Well, it's not LFE. It's actually a full range speaker
Yeah.
that put together for
Yeah,
IMAX.
they're all full range in every channel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that's theater spec. That's
yeah.
it's
But-
that's
and,
like-
and that's kind of it's like, well, what is it gonna do in the home market? Because
yeah.
I mean, that is what IMAX Enhance is. This is another one of those stickers that may not mean anything. I mean, because it's like, well, in the theater, it's, hey, all speakers match full range.
Yep.
Which, okay, now how are you going to bring that into the home?
I'm going to
it's
buy 11
marketing
D212.
thing, but
Yeah.
So just quickly though, I'm curious to know, for those of you who are watching, just put in the chat. Let us know how much you think you would pay for a player that has the specs that we just described for the 8K. Because I see Michael talked about 1K max, but I'm curious because I think there are other players that don't even have this spec, right? That cost more than that 1K.
Yeah. No, I mean, typically, from being as a PD dealer, and I'm not even going to mention anything else, but this, just with knowing, how similar those two are, I would probably say $13.99, $14.99, somewhere around there. I don't have any back information or anything like that, but it would make sense with all the upgrades, especially with the one player costing, $8.99 now, to put all the extras, bells and whistles, into that other player and not charge any extra money. I don't think they want to do that. So
There's a part of me that thinks they might leave it at the $8.99.
well, if there's going to be a lot of happy people if that happens.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no complaints about that. Please, do that. I think a lot of people will. A lot of people will love it.
Stop sharing this, and I'm going to share another screen real quick. Let's see here. I want to talk about our good friend Scottio. Mr. Scottio broke this news about this petabyte disc last week on the show.
I know, man. Everyone
And
has
you
been
know what?
talking about
It
it.
blew up, right? So I want to
know.
thank Scottio for introducing this first before anybody.
We should have put on a clip of it out there, man. Because
Yeah,
now
put it on
everybody
the
has
shorts,
a
right?
sound bite of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So Scottio broke this news on our channel last week about this this petabyte disc, 100 layers that they're able to put, and just wanted to thank him personally for doing that. And everybody else seemed to follow suit afterwards for that.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's big news because this has the potential here of bringing back physical media in just by itself, just for the pure fact that, oh, people are going to want players and rippers and copy machines, and maybe you want to start recording 8K video, and this, you can do this with, as long as the vibration dampening for the assuming laser that could create the image on these discs. I mean, there's a lot of potential here, but my thing that I like most about this is I'm hoping it becomes more affordable quickly, so you can have true cold storage and multiple copies of your cold storage because it can't cost that much to produce. I think they figured out a technology, but I mean, look at it. It's a CD, but then again, it may take some super fancy, like silicone chip making process almost to make these discs. So it could be way too expensive for a really long time. But
Yeah, we're not gonna see
petabytes. How many?
we're not gonna
Is
see
it a
this in the consumer market. It looks like, is it petabit or petabyte? That's what I'm
Petabyte.
trying. It's byte. That's a
petabyte?
lot.
Well, it does say bits.
It
It
says
does say
bit.
bits.
If
It's
it's
1.6
bits, then that's
petabits of data.
if
I
it
had
is
some
bits
little
is
stuff on
different.
the
petabits,
side
then
that I didn't want to keep broadcasting.
Yeah, you gotta
Realize that.
divide that by 8 to figure out the. What is the conversion of that?
yeah, I was just
200
about it. Yeah, I think it's
200,000 gigs.
200,000 gigs. Yeah,
Two
something like
hundred
that.
thousand
It's
gigs, so
roughly
200 terabyte.
14.2 thousand 4K 2-hour long 4K movies.
Yeah, 200 terabyte. Yeah, that
That's
would back up
that's
my
an
entire
incredible amount of
NAS
data.
in one disk. That would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, for those of us who were talking about the Player One 8K, you gonna be spending time burning that stuff. It'll take you 2 weeks to burn your freaking
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm trying to find out what kind of
but it would
technology
take
they're using.
you. I mean, it would
My
take you 2
goodness.
months to take one disk, put it in your player, back up. Oh, it's done.
The
Put
question
another
is,
one
what
in.
kind of write speed can that have? You know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
know, right?
Oh, I bet you it's gonna be
there's
slow.
there's a lot of back end technology you have to. I was actually looking to find out if there's any connection to Sony, because why would Sony go to Disney unless they had a new physical media technology like this?
Yeah.
Sony is also creating their own audio codec, right? The one currently being used in the PS5. They're
Yeah.
heavy. They're really heavy about that one. So all of it
What's that
might be
one called?
tying down together. They're trying to explore new market spaces. So I think it's starting to make sense and just tie it all together for me now.
Mhm.
What
You know,
Sony's trying to do.
we're probably going to get a better version of the Atmos discs now, right? So, what everybody calls the Atmos discs, because they're always like 10 or 12 dB lower than anything else that's put out there. So, I like the fact that Sony's taken over this, because I don't think I own a Sony disc that is a bad disc, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
As far as a studio mix, a movie mix.
Mhm.
So I can't recall a bad one.
Yeah,
some of the movies may
I
be
don't
bad.
trust Disney as much as I used to trust them anymore. So
Yeah.
just hand it over to somebody else. Sony, that's fine.
Well, they got rid of all the overhead now, right? So they don't have to worry about, mixers and this and that and everything else. Just sub it out. And Sony will make a little bit, and they may make less, but who's not to say that they may not sell more, right? So it's just you got to play those. You got to weigh your costs and overhead, and at some point in time, you just have to decide to cut. If you Mike talks about the Sony Disney Spider-Man. Yeah, it's they're phenomenal discs.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Well, the new ES series that Sony released, the new receivers apparently are really leading the way. Sony came back in a really big way when they came out with their ES line, and they've always been pretty serious about sound, anyways.
Mhm.
So when they
Yeah,
put those out,
they've always been really good at it, but I think at some point they just kind of stepped out of that space for no reason. So it looks like they finally decided to start going back into it.
Yeah.
a lot of people really do like that receiver. I know.
Yeah.
I know Shane Lee. He actually got rid of his Emotiva receiver that he had, and he put the Sony. He replaced it with the Sony.
Man,
That
poor Emotiva, man.
that
Jesus.
that thing actually has a lot of speaker layouts. If you go back and watch his review of that, I mean, it has got probably 40 or 50 speaker layouts that you can use with that thing. And not only can you have different speaker layouts, but you can integrate wireless with wired in that too.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I want to get one of those in and try.
One,
Hey,
now, I don't know if it's true still today, but
can you pull it up? Do you have? Can you
I
pull up the
know
website
back
for
in
me?
the day, the one thing about Sony and a lot of their products, they're kind of like the Apple of entertainment. All their products integrate very well together, but they don't like to
To do it.
work well with others, So, but they have generally a lot of features. Like I remember when I had the that Trinitron flat panel, TV or whatever it was, the super fancy 36. That thing had like you could do 4 picture-in-pictures, but also you could do 1 picture in the center and then snippets all around. That was like 12 different channels. So if you were a sports person, you could literally be watching every sports channel as far as like the score and that was just one of the features, and it integrated with their stuff. I ended up going with Denon later, but yeah, the JVCs. Every time I had any of those devices, they seem to integrate well with all their own products, and they do have a lot of features. Now, some of them, again, it's silly features that are like, do you really need this and stuff like that? But it's kind of like the Yamaha, church hall mode. It's like, oh yeah, there's like 400 up mixers in this thing that
Oh
you'll
man,
never use.
I haven't heard that church hall in a while, man. You just brought back some memories, man.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched Shane Lee's video on this, make sure you go over and check it out because he did a really good video on this particular receiver. I think this is the model number. I'm not sure if this is the new one or not, but it it definitely has a ton of channel layouts or speaker layouts in this. And like I
Cool.
said, you can use wireless with wired. You can and it's got that same technology as the A9 system has in it to where, and I know Jonathan, those of you that saw an earlier episode with Jonathan, he's got that A9 system, and I tell you what, he loves it. He really does. He talks about how good it sounds, for just with 5 speakers. So
Now, does this have a pre-pro mode?
let's see if we can get a better. See, here's some of the wireless stuff that you can use with it. Let's see.
Yeah, I think the wireless combines that technology Ike was talking about with the PS5, the LDAC wireless technology.
Yeah.
So this one has the IMAX Enhanced too.
Yeah. No Auro 3D though.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe it.
It's the end of the world, man.
Oh, it's
Did
the
you guys see that?
360
Yeah,
spatial
it's
sound
that
mapping,
spatial.
aka Oro 3D,
That's the same thing they're doing.
aka Yamaha AI
That's
enhanced.
the
Oh
same.
wait,
That's
they
the
all
same
got 'em.
spatial sound for on the PS5 because that's
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
use in the spatial audio.
Yeah, reality. The thing is, though, I know you guys have probably seen the news. The Auro 3D is moving into more of the software side of things rather than it being like a codec or like an end format to compete with DTS and
So
Atmos.
mapping
good
So
for
speed,
them.
just like
they're going to
the
be moving ahead of the other two, which means that the codec is going to be interchangeable, like upmix or whatever, with all of the 3D, like the 3D reality sound. So Auro 3D will essentially be in everything by default, I think, if they are successful.
so a couple of the features of the speaker layout, you got the acoustic center. So as you know, some of the Sony TVs, they actually use the glass to produce sound.
Mhm.
So you can do the TV as the actual center, or you can actually do a dual center like Trinoff allows you to do, and blend them together, and
Mhm.
or you can do a center speaker lift. So it's actually mapping the speaker layout for you. So, and then like I said, it can do
From your
wireless.
height speakers, it's mapping it, trying to. So it's like a Trinnov, man.
Yeah, because I remember on the PS5, right? There was this big hoopla about the PS5 not supporting Dolby Atmos, but Sony was using their custom they just went on and turned on Dolby Atmos and that stuff like a few weeks ago. Like, so it's like whatever they have, their spatial audio stuff already even covers Dolby Atmos.
Yeah. So this
So
one I was talking about before, it's got Control 4 Savant. Crestron was the one I was trying to think of. That one's like super expensive. So look, Chana, it's got Zone 1, Zone 2, and Zone 3.
Zone 3.
Oh, Zone 3. Oh, it's almost as good as the 4 zones on the Yami. Dang.
Oh
That's
boy.
getting up there, man.
Look, Yamaha is built for like old school engineers, man. That's
Yeah.
This price point, though,
It's
I don't-
basically, yeah, it's kind of the old man sitting on the porch.
this
like-
this at this price point, $32.99. I don't think it's a bad receiver at all. You know, it's I definitely want to get it in house and try it out.
Hmm.
I'm thinking
looks
about
like-
replacing my Denon, because I have a Denon 6300. Thinking about replacing my Denon 6300 for this and use this to control my living room setup.
Yeah, I was looking for the preamp mode thing. All I can find on it is that the preamps are separate from the other circuit, so they're cleaner, better separation, that kind of thing. I don't know if you can fully disconnect the amp power though.
Yeah, so there's it shows it on the back here. There's a pre out over here.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure you can disconnect them. Use it as in preamp mode specifically.
Kind of like Denon does, Denon and Marantz
Right.
now.
Yeah, if it sounds like it's possible because the circuitry is actually it's separated somehow. There's a preamp power supply that's separated from the amp power supply. So it sounds like it could be done, but I don't know if it's really stated as
for
such.
3200. I hope they're doing that.
If you look at this though, there's not very many HDMI ports on here. What do you got? 2,
I mean,
4,
you don't.
6?
I mean, do we really need all that? I mean, well, I
You
probably
got a
should shut
Blu-ray
up.
player.
I
You got
have
a
6
you got a
Emmys and all
you got a
seven of
Zedu.
mine.
You got a Zappi. You got a Player One now. You got, so they add up quickly. Your Apple TV. So
Yeah.
they do add up quickly. Then you got your PlayStation. Most people have PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you've got all 6 of them used.
You know what's interesting about
Well,
it? It's
I
rack
use it for-
mountable from the box.
Oh,
So that is pretty cool. So that picture of it being rack mounted, that is a factory thing. It's not
Yeah,
like
it says custom integration. Yep.
Yep.
So it
That's-
comes with handles. That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Comes with the ears.
Comes with the ear. So it's a legit.
Sony remotes have not changed though. They like that green color, man. Can you go back to the remote?
Yeah.
Yep. They still got the green.
Hey, that's like asking Klipsch to stop using copper.
Oh
I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Forget about
Yeah,
it.
some of these features for brands are just never going to change.
Yeah.
Ike is not pro Sony at the minute, so
Well, I mean,
he might be
I
a
think-
little biased.
yeah, for Sony though, Sony's like JVC to me. Like it's like I have that historical growing up, and your dad has Sony and JVCs, so it's ingrained in some of us that's what it is. Like the high speakers I have, my first home theater setup was Sony's. Were those Sony's really cheap ones? I still have the height ones here sitting here because I couldn't let go of them. So I love Sony. Just didn't have a good experience with the projector.
Yeah, there were a lot. Didn't you go to Cedia, Ike? Did you go to Cedia?
Yeah.
I think they had
I
a Kef
covered that. Yeah, I covered.
setup there, right?
What now? Sorry.
Was it Kef and Sony?
Yeah, I did cover Sony. I think I
I
have
heard
one or
it was-
two
I
videos.
heard it was a great room, man. I mean, with
Yeah.
this processor.
Yep. I did. I think I have a video on the channel for Sony. Hopefully, I posted it. But yeah, I did capture that.
So
Not bad, man.
yeah, no, I don't know how we got on the track of that.
There
But
is a million layouts on
yeah,
this.
that's what I'm telling you. There's a lot of layouts.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages. Nope, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
That's
Go ahead and
great.
share some of them, Paul.
25 pages. No, you don't want to see this. It's the manual. 25 pages of different configurations of the speakers.
Hey, I
And
mean,
each page is like a PDF. So it's like there's a lot on each page. It's not. I mean, it's like there's like 40 layouts on each page, and there's 25.
Like I said, go to Shane Lee's channel and check it out. Check out the review of that.
maybe hopefully we don't have to pay 16 grand for full 16 channels on a train up, right? So
Yeah.
Sonny, can you get it? Can you make it cheaper for us, Sonny?
Oh, I might
make a separate processor.
I might have scrolled to another language, so there's maybe not 25. Maybe there's half of that. Because I was like, what the heck is going on here?
They offer the other 10 in Japan.
Yeah.
Michael says downside, no direct. So I mean, that's what their proprietary, 3D mapping.
Yep. There's 13 pages though. 13 pages of speaker layouts. It's insane.
Come on in, Scotty-O. Join the party, brother. You got the link.
Ah, man, IKEA manuals. What are those? Those are like the most complicated manuals you have to follow, man.
Oh man.
I don't even know why they put any manuals in anything IKEA, man.
I usually don't even read them.
I know, right?
I don't know if you guys, we were talking about YouTube channels and stuff like that, but I want to give a little bit of props to this YouTube channel. I've been subscribed to them for a while, but they just recently did a home theater tour, a home theater build. They're out of the UK. It's called Airwave Audio and Vision. I'm just going to bring up their channel real quick, but I've talked about some of my visions for my theater. And they actually have like some of the colors and stuff like that I did in this recent video down here on the bottom right hand side. And I'm going to pull up some pictures of what they got. So let me but yeah, I've reached out to them today to see if I can get them to actually do an aesthetic design, because I really like the way that their theaters that they've put out on this channel.
Your one of your ideas is the picture that's on the bottom right?
Exactly. I'm going to go to that right now. So
you want those chevron looking things. You know what? I still need to do that. How wide's your theater, or what are your dimensions of your theater?
So it is 21 and a half deep by like 16 and a half wide.
Let me take a note of that. By 16 and a half wide?
Yeah. So this is the design that I've shared with Paul, and I told him that I want to somehow integrate this into my theater. Well, moving forward, I found that I literally stumbled across this the other day. Let's go back. Let me go back to this. Here we go. Boom. Look at that. That is almost like what I'm looking for. And these are the colors of my seats. Wow. So I really like the projector box. It is all one color. I know that, but I would want to put, a pop of color maybe around the frame outside. What did I do here?
21 and a half by 16 and a half. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And what's the ceiling height?
10 foot for the tray and 9 foot for the underside. So this is a very nice design. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to this channel because I discovered this the other day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's exactly what you were talking about right there.
Yep, exactly. And I drew this up, and I showed this to Paul. I'll have to go through more of my home.
That's why I was like, well, shoot, there's your look right there, man. Exactly. I don't even have to do anything.
Hey, Scott has a question for you, though.
Sure, Scott. I can't see you because I'm on the other page, but go ahead.
No,
Are you
he's,
going
he's
to put
asking
lights
if you're
in
gonna put
the?
lights in the pattern or
So
move over the lighting, just
one
like they
thing
have
that
it.
one thing that's in here is it's actually, and Paul talked about this. There's actually a metal lay inside of there. So
Mhm.
look at this next theater. Why does it keep doing this? So you can see actual metal inside of the grooves.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Mhm.
like a snap-in frame.
Yeah, yeah. So it's. I mean, I just I don't really care
It,
for the
it it
bars.
really gives it a fancy. Yeah, if you want something more upscale, RGB isn't. If you want something more sci-fi, yeah, any RGB. But yeah, that metal, just that, even though it's a reflective surface, and oh god, your home theater
I know.
people will go ape shit over it. But
Well,
I'm
you
telling
see
you,
it in the
That's
front. I
that's
mean, you
because
can
even
see it
in
on the
that, yeah,
side
you
here.
can see that. But you know what? It doesn't. You could do a more muted, type of, you know, material that's not quite as reflective. That's
Yeah,
brushed
use
as
a brushed
opposed to,
aluminum.
yeah, you could do a brushed instead of a glossy copper or whatever.
Yeah.
But
So let me see if I can
it
find.
looks amazing either way.
So this is the design that I showed Paul. Hold on. That's literally the design that I showed him, and it's
Yeah,
almost. I designed
it's
this
got the
myself.
same exact feel. It's got the
Exactly. Yep.
exact same feel. Yep. No,
That's really cool.
absolutely. Yep.
So it was inspiring to see, with my something like my design come together. So I just wanted to give them a shout out, and like I said, I actually reached out to them and through via email to see if they'd be interested in designing me. I just want a little bit more pop of color, but I do want to incorporate something like the light tan colors, but with black in the front, like that, and maybe around the sides and the bottom, maybe if the top is a 1 foot, put another 1 foot to make it symmetrical on the bottom too, in a different color. So, but yeah, that's just wanted to give them a shout out. Go make sure you go over and check out their channel also over there, because they have some very nice looking theaters there.
Now those dimensions that you gave me, the 21.5, that before or after your false wall?
So that's after the false wall. So the total room is 23.5 deep.
Okay. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, I figure all the aesthetics are going to be because behind that wall, I'm going to have two entryway doors on both sides of that. But behind the wall, there's not going to be, you know, I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm going to put aesthetics back there or not. It's more or less going to be, foam and bass traps and stuff like that back there. So, along with the speaker.
Yep. So
Yeah, carbon fiber might look pretty good in there. You're right about that.
yeah,
Yeah, if it was a matte finish, so it wouldn't reflect as much. Yeah, cool. It'd be a cool idea. Just get thin strips, and you can just clip them on over top of it.
I found this company prior that actually had like a backlit marble that was pretty cool. It
Cool.
it, it would light up, behind. It was kind of like a translucent type of marble or color, and it would allow light to pass through. It was pretty cool.
I've seen some people use that for like not desktop or tabletop countertop, where they light. It's like a mix of quartz, so it's more crystal like. Yeah.
That wasn't me, man. I think that's
Yeah,
the bots.
okay.
That's AI or something. The type that.
I understand. Don't be hating on the design.
Hey, I'm not a hater, man.
Oh man.
Oh, so where's Miguel at with his home build?
They were working on they did the plumbing. Was it the plumbing or the water inspection today? And that didn't pass. They needed to do more insulation on that, but the roofers were there today. I don't know if they finished, but he was hoping that they would finish today. They were almost done whenever I was talking to him. So, and then after that, I think the electrician has to get inspected before they can brick the outside of the house. And then it's, sheetrock and
HVAC and
the
electrical.
HVAC's already in.
Okay. What about electrical?
It's in. It needs inspected.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Before
They're moving along.
Oh yeah, like I said, man. His dad knows a lot of people.
Hey, I'm doing one, like I told you, one piece of drywall.
They did. Let's put it this way: they would have done your theater in a day.
I got an estimate to have my drywall hung in 3 days.
3
finished.
days. Oh wow! No, these guys, they'd have it done in a day. I
You
guarantee.
can't finish a drywall and do it properly in a day. 'cause it's not-
Oh no, you'd have to come back. You'd have to mud it. You'd have to come back and do coats and paint. Like that takes days because you have to let it dry in between coats. But not everybody, because they have the I don't know if you ever used the quick dry.
15-minute dry.
You have to be good at mudding to use that though, because that stuff, I'm telling you, you need like an angle grinder to sand that stuff down. It's that hard. You got to be really good at that.
No, I'm still on my one sidewall. I did add 2 pieces of drywall the other day to the sidewall. So I have a third, a back wall, and a sidewall to double layer. So I'm on the second layer of the third, and then I can start taping and mudding and stuff like that. I'm hoping this Sunday to be able to spend the whole day in there. I don't have anything planned. Last Sunday I had birthday party for the nephew, and then just Monday the kid was sick. It's just every other week we're somebody's sick in this house due to daycare, traveling to Disney, or something like that.
Hey, as long as you're having fun, right?
No, but you're doing well, man. Because I don't know how you're doing those 5/8 drywalls by yourself. Because those things are not light, man.
No.
Well,
Well, Don's a big boy, man.
Yeah,
he can handle those things.
Yeah, but it's not like it's 1 or 2, man. That's a lot of drywalls.
Yeah,
man.
it is. It's a lot of work. It really is.
Man.
So I bought this grabber. It actually squeezes onto you lift up on the handle and it's pressure, and it pushes together, and then you can lift it straight up with one arm and carry the whole piece of drywall in. But I'm telling you what, it's awkward, and it's still like 90 pounds, carrying that 5/8 in, because I have to carry it from one garage into the house, because the garage door is all bolted up from the other side. It's all bolted up, and I do have an exit door on the other side, but it's just shorter to come from the one garage to the front door right to the room. So
yeah, because I had to carry these things upstairs while I was building mine, and it's not fun, man. And I didn't have to carry as much as you have to fix.
Have you seen Ryan's pictures from his theater? He's got OSB, double layer, like OSB everywhere. I think he said they're 80 pounds. So he's done the same exact thing, doing OSB and 5/8 drywall for this thing. So I think he's doing double layer drywall too. So he showed pictures on last Sunday's show, from Michael's Sunday show. But yeah, I mean, look, it's everything is done by myself, except for the ceiling. I had somebody come in and actually help me with the ceiling, but for the most part, it was just to put it up on the drywall lift, line it up, and make sure all the lines were running straight. But other than that, everything has been all me. I had to build holders just to be able to hang wood and frame and stuff like that, so that I can stretch a 16-foot piece of wood across the front. So it's I've been using clamps and everything. It's all me, man, except for the electrical and just doing the ceiling. But I did it. So I got my electrician to come in. Like I told you, I don't want to cause a fire in the house. So
Yep.
That's
Yep.
the one. That's the one thing I don't play with. I always pay somebody to come to electricity, man. Because
yeah,
drywall you can patch it, you can cut and fix. Electricity is like hit or miss. You make
Yeah.
one wrong move, and
yeah. So the
You're
other
like,
thing I'm going to do
I'm
is
all right with that.
the company that
So
I work for. We sell blown in insulation that has a So I am a branch manager for Terminex for commercial, and we sell an insulation that's has acoustic properties in it because it's infused with boric acid,
Mm.
and it actually has a lot of dampening factors in it. So I'm going to pay for the insulation to be blown between my ceiling and the second floor, and
Nice.
then above my garage. So I'm going to let them handle that because it gets pretty dusty and stuff like that. So, but that's the only other thing I'm going to have someone else do. So they're just going to come in and just because it's much easier for two people to
oh yeah.
operate blow-in machine and all that stuff. So
yeah, because I've been thinking of doing that spray foam insulation because my own theater is upstairs, right? So I've been thinking of doing it on that floor. Thankfully the kitchen is right below the home theater, so it's not, it's not like there's a room down there, so that's good. Doesn't bug anybody out, But I've been thinking of trying to get some spray foam insulation, just open up holes on the floor and then just pump it and
right.
just add some additional. It's not going to make any 100%, but I think psychologically it would just make me feel better.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know,
One thing I would say is make sure you get open cell just in case you have a leak. Because if
yeah.
you get closed cell, it's not going to
Oh no,
allow.
you don't. No, you don't want to do. Yeah, I think here.
That may sound opposite, right? But you need to know if that leak's going to be in there because if not, it's going to mold. It's
Mold,
going,
yeah.
it's going to cause a lot more damage than if you don't know that it's in there with that closed cell. So a lot of people would think, no, let's get closed cell to make it watertight. But me personally, I want to know if there's a leak there, right? So that I can take care of it and fix it.
Yeah.
Plus, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I thought the open cell absorbs more sound than closed cell.
I'm not
On the
sure.
RT
I don't
or
know
yeah,
about the.
RT. I'm pretty sure that is the case.
I'm not sure about the acoustic properties of it. So
Yeah, it's not even audio related. It's just sound
Just sound,
right.
yeah.
requirements. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. So Kanga, any updates to your theater or any changes that you've had? For those of you that are waiting for a home theater tour, I apologize. We did have another guest that was going to do a theater tour, but he'll probably be on next week to do a theater tour with us. But unfortunately he's under the weather today too. His name is Mitch. I actually added him into the Home Theater Hub chat that we have. So if you'd like to be a member, or not even a member, if you'd like to join us on the home theater chat, just send us an email to the same home theater hub live at gmail.com. All you need is a Facebook account, and that way we can add you to our home theater hub chat that we have. We have pretty active chat going on every day. There's always some kind of home theater talk in that chat. So anything new going on with your
You guys can't even really see what it is, but and the power cord just dropped inside of my desk, so I'm not going to be able to turn it on. But that's a streamer that has a tube section in it.
Oh wow.
And it's from a brand called Advance Paris. They've been getting a lot of traction lately. There was a whole bunch of models at the Florida show. A couple of people in the media, Cheap Audio Man, a couple of others that have had Advance Paris items like tube preamp or tube input stage in their integrated amps. So it's a new talked about brand. That's probably not a new brand in general, but they're coming out. So the most interesting thing that I'm going to have coming up is to compare this streamer unit against the Weem Pro Plus,
Okay.
which I've compared them and looked at them through the applications that they come with, and it looks like the software is identical. So that makes playing and switching between them pretty easy. So I'm going to try to A/B and compare what these sound like, both with their internal DACs, because this has a line out. Weem Pro Plus has a line out. And then also with the coaxial output to see if it handles any bit of the streaming differently. I'm sure that they're using some of the same chips because they operate on the same software. But other than that, I want to find out if they are audibly different.
Yeah,
It's
I
going
mean,
to
if
be a
it's
little bit interesting. Nothing scientific, no instant A/B, because I don't have a network switch or a line level switch or, nothing like that. But I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens. So that's the new device.
you spoke about integrated. Can you? Because one thing that kind of confused me when I first got into this, for those people that are just new and checking, can you explain? You or Paul explain integrated amps. Like what's the difference for an integrated amp versus not integrated?
The shared power supply, generally.
Yeah. So say if you have how many different sources, if you have different sources like AM, FM radio, let's just say that's a source. Turntable, that's a source. That's something that's separate. An integrated amp will have the radio, the digital section, all of the different inputs, the preamp section and power amp section inside one chassis. That makes it integrated. So you have some sources, digital, DAC included, streamer sometimes included now. So everything is inside one box. And like Paul said, it shares one power supply to power all of them. So similar to an AV receiver where you plug in your HDMI, you select an input, and it handles everything inside. Preamp, power amp, powers your speakers, all that kind of stuff. That makes it an integrated where the power and pre are integrated together. Otherwise, you would call them separates, where your preamp is connected to power amps outside of each other, and they have individual power supplies. So that would be the distinction.
Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, that was one thing that I used to get confused on too, is because people would bring up the integrated versus separates, like you said. And when I first got into this hobby,
People don't realize back in the day, if you were into hi-fi, you had to have a separate. I mean, some of them were even separate AM and FM, not just. But most of the time, it was a separate tuner, a separate tape deck, and a separate preamp. That's why all your audiophiles are really big on these preamps, because you used to have a preamp, and the preamps did make a big difference back in the day because it was your intermediate connection. But now everything's just built in. We're all digital, and people, they hate it because the first iteration of digital sucked ass. It really did. I mean, it was your first Class D amp, but it was new. It was, hey, we're using a tenth of the, power to produce the same, perceived sound, but yeah, there was a lot of distortion whenever it first came out. Now we have the power supply switching is so much faster. It's leaps and bounds. You cannot tell the difference now.
A lot of people run an AV blind test. I don't think that most people, if you were in a room and asked to listen to certain things, and listen to a set of speakers, or not told anything, to like double blind tests or just blind tests, I don't know that many people who state that they can tell a difference or that they have a preference would actually get that accurately enough to be statistically significant if it was blind tested.
Yeah, true blind, which would be really hard to do.
Right. Yeah, especially the newest Class D tech, which I am a really big fan of because I love how they're putting it all together. The newest leading edge stuff, something I alluded to earlier, is really, really good. Really good by the specs, by the numbers, by the measurements, by all of their characteristics. They're miles ahead of what it used to be. So most, I think, that look down at Class D as a smear or a bad word in audio are thinking of what they used to sound like. But the technology's moved so much faster recently that they're stuck on an old idea, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be afraid of Class D. I would say go listen and find out because it's way better than it used to be.
Hey, but you're never going to get a warmer sound than a Class A if you're standing close to the amp. Yeah, they still put off a lot of heat.
Cold climates for most of the year. Class A options is probably a good idea to put down on heating costs.
Yep, it'll definitely keep warmer. You know, fry an egg on some of those. That, like, I remember it was the old one. I had an old Altic Lansing or something like that. It was huge. That thing probably weighed out. It was a 2-channel, probably weighed 120 pounds. I mean, I should have had a dedicated circuit for it, but
I tell you,
it blinked the whole house. I mean, when just turning it on, all the light, I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
That Denon 6300 that I had or have, that thing cooks, man. I could put an egg on the top of it, and it literally
this thing got really warm. Like you could brown paper on this thing. Like that's. Yeah, I mean,
it depends on the bias. So how much of the power goes into Class A at the beginning of the circuit, and they can all be dialed in. I remember there's a certain setting for, like, when I was building amplifiers, there was a certain setting or specific voltage setting that you can dial into all the modules, and then you test it based on that, and that would be the difference on how much it is running in Class A to begin with, what its idle voltage is. So it's really fascinating to see it. I find that there's
you're talking Class A, B, where you're defining where the switch. Okay,
yeah. The Class A, B bias, whatever they want to call it, like which where in the circuit.
The one I had was a true full Class A. Like
I hear that Class A is changing too. There's a couple brands doing something new where it's not generating as much heat. I don't know enough to speak to it, but I do hear that they're changing it.
You don't get
welcome, Scotty O. Welcome to the
out of the Class A generally.
Hey guys, late, but hey, I wanted in on the conversation.
Hey man, come on in. Man. That's what this is all about. For those of you that want to join, pop in, pop out, do what you want to do. This is free flowing podcast here.
I have absolutely nothing new for you guys this week, but want to jump in?
I was laughing every time I saw a banner.
I was dying. I'm over there working. I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm coming in. You gotta have some enjoyment in life, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you heard me giving you props for the petabyte disc that you announced last week on the show.
Yeah.
It seems like after you announced this on the channel, we were the first one to announce it, and everybody ran with it. So
I saw that. I'm like, I just didn't have time, and we're all in the same community. So if someone else,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's and the thing is, who in audio would be looking up data center storage? It's like, obviously you're not into audio that much. I think the only reason Scott runs into that is different fields.
It was kind of funny though.
It's in its field though. So
I do have to say this. It's kind of funny and ironic that everyone ran with it and ran with it towards media and home theater.
Like, it has nothing to do with home theater.
It has nothing to do with home theater. It is cool tech. Well, will we ever see it? I don't think so. Honestly,
yeah. Shane Lee even mentioned it on his channel.
Yeah, I don't know though, because 8K video, they're trying. Okay, so the problem is
maybe
we went from 480 to 1080, and huge moneymaker, huge for the industry, big. HD to 4K. not so much.
No.
But still, it's slowly, it's still a moneymaker, but not near as much as from the regular 480 interlaced to HD, because now people aren't, there's not as much as a visible difference, even from 1080 to 4K. There is. Now, if you get a larger screen, so that's why I think 4K is just now catching up, or starting to catch up, because we're getting these super large screens that are super, affordable comparatively. But from 4K to 8K, there's even less of a difference. Like, people are like, okay, yeah, but even the average consumer with the demo stuff is like, I don't know if that's worth an upgrade. So they're kind of stuck, in between this, but with that, I think where Don's device that he's looking at getting, it could provide the ability to, it's kind of like, why take a picture that's, 20 meg whenever you only ever post something that's, 1 meg. It's so you can, edit it and refine it, or, EQ it, if you would. That's why you need higher sampling.
The thing is,
so this is what I kind of have
basically doubles 4K, right? So it's a huge jump. It's just a question of, it's a bigger jump from 1080 to 4K.
So our standard 4K is running what, 50, 60 gigs tops per movie, right? Now,
some of them
there's already Blu-ray tech out there that does 128 gigs per disc.
Yeah.
They have 4-layer Blu-rays, right?
Yeah.
So why would they all of a sudden take a jump in the media market to go to these new petabyte, 3D holograph discs to store movies on? It doesn't make sense. 8K will easily fit in a 128 gig disc.
Well, the only reason it would jump into our market right now, before we go, and again, that was my point, since we're not jumping to 8K or 16K, there's no reason to have much larger size discs than what we have today. But since the perception from 4K to 8K really isn't that big of a jump, like people are, it's just not selling like people thought it would.
People aren't buying it. People aren't buying the TVs.
But
you gotta have a huge screen to have a noticeable difference.
You need the cameras, right?
Yeah, you can do the cameras, video games, graphics, that type of thing will push this. And once that happens and it's more affordable in the big industries, the market will use it in their advantage. So think about it. If I'm like, hey, I want to watch Game of Thrones, right? I could put one friggin' disc in there and it would, remember where I left off. You know what I mean? Instead of having, 8 box sets of 4 discs a piece, that's where the advantage would be. And then that would make it to where people, and that there's always a resale in that for collectors. People that are collectors are going to buy, like, oh, I want all the Friday the 13th movies, all on one disc, re-rendered in 8K. They'll be like, oh, sweet. But again, the problem is the 8K, we just haven't. No one's gonna have the room to even really see the visible difference.
Right. Who's going to manufacture the players?
Pretty interesting here.
When they're already hurting to just sell the existing players, with everyone moving to streaming media. Now, if you're a futurist, you could look at those discs as maybe potentially some kind of AI and interactive integration, right? Where the disc can hold a petabyte of data. And maybe we go back to the world of, well, instead of 3D glasses, we now have augmented reality glasses with our movie, right? Then that media and all that additional storage would save maybe streaming that over the internet.
Yep.
Whether it's needed or not. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, you're back to
what are we seeing here? Just the sales of the discs.
Just the sales. So in 2022, DVD was still almost doubling, Blu-ray.
And
And
you know
you're-
what?
and then
Pull up
same
the
thing.
sale of VHS versus discs.
Yeah. So
You'll
I
be
mean,
surprised.
UHD is a little bit higher in June of 2023. So this is an older article, but I've been kind of tracking this, and we're still, even to this week, we're still only at like 15% UHD sales.
Yeah.
Right. So so the only people that are really buying this are people that are enjoying UHD are home theater enthusiasts. I'm thinking, they're the people that are want the lossless audio, want the lossless video,
Yeah,
right? And
Techno
even
Dad is
even
probably
so, it's
buying all the DVDs, man. I think
Ru-
that's what China buys, man. Just DVDs, straight up.
just hey, if I can get the Revolution player to upscale to the Blu-ray and pay $5 less, maybe it's worth it.
Yeah.
Think about it,
Maybe.
if you can get something to upscale it, are people saving money for that? I'll try to find a newer article on this, but I mean, it's just unbelievable to me that people are still buying DVDs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the
granted, I know
the rest of the world still uses DVDs, man. It's like,
Yeah.
there's only 400 million people on this side of the world. There's a whole market out there that people are still using.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, we like to
sometimes,
think that North American market's the only thing that exists and forget that there's a
yes,
large world of different regions of stuff out there.
yeah, not everybody's looking forward to an 8K media player, man. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes
I like
think
to, I like
sometimes
to
we get caught up in
operate
that.
my own little world.
Yeah, sometimes we get caught up in our own, micro universe, and it's like, but the real market is. I mean, think about it. As of two years ago, 43% DVDs, and then you wonder who's buying it. But there's
Well,
plenty.
here's the
$5
thing.
bin at Walmart is what's happening. The $5.
Here's
Yeah,
the
because I
reality.
try watching DVDs and I cringe. It's just painful.
Yeah. The reality of it is, what will sell in media is convenience. And that's why I'm saying the only thing that I think we would see in this, large new format of disc is, oh, hey, I don't have to change discs to watch a whole series. I can start it, pause, come back, play, pause, come back, that type of deal. DVDs, the only reason DVDs sell and stuff like that, people don't realize that not everybody lives in a metro area.
Yeah.
So not everybody has the ability to have good enough streaming. They're streaming still at like 3 megs.
But Amazon delivers everywhere.
Exactly.
Almost.
So I mean, you gotta think of it like that. So it's convenient. DVD is convenient. It's cheap. And that's why that they sell more.
It's almost that's a reflection of like what the hi-fi industry is like. Like, not a lot of people are in hi-fi. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2-channel, high quality.
Yeah.
It's a very, very small niche kind of market where I know a lot of people that just enjoy listening to music because look at Dre Beats headphones. They probably outsell everything bar none.
Yep.
Because they're fashionable, they're easy to get.
Marketing, and guess what?
And most people that buy hi-fi or music equipment are buying Bluetooth speakers, sound bars, just by the numbers. A lot of people don't care about how high quality it is. They just want to be able to hear it. The same thing with DVDs. The Walmart close to me doesn't have 4K options, but they have a bin full of DVDs.
Yep, exactly.
So like, how many DVDs were produced? How many are still out there? Does the network of distribution still reach all of the convenience stores all the way across the country? DVDs are probably still there, so they still sell. I don't know how these numbers are calculated, but I'm just speculating.
Well, you got to remember,
this is watch something once, and you don't need to see it again because your memory is good enough. I watch a whole movie in my head in a couple of seconds because I've seen it once and I already know what happens. So I don't need to, you know what I mean? It's like this demo crowd wants a disc, so you put it on and say, hey, look at my subwoofers are destroying my foundation of the house. Check, this is cool. It's a small group, so
So
Yeah,
one
it is.
thing to think about also is these numbers can be skewed, right? So think
Oh
about
yeah.
when Oppenheimer came out, how many people went out and bought the 4K disc? Well, 2 weeks later, after Oppenheimer wasn't hot anymore and nobody needed to buy Oppenheimer anymore, then the then the UHD sales plummet, right? Or whatever format that they're buying. So the numbers are skewed week to week, but it's definitely still showing that, you know, DVD is still outselling everything by a vast majority, and I just find it. Look, I know it's first world problems, but I just find it hard to believe that anybody's buying DVDs anymore.
Well,
no,
maybe
not
maybe not in
DVD.
the U.S., but I mean, look at the whole like Bollywood in India, right? The whole huge movie industry out there. They're not selling 4K discs.
Yeah,
Everything is on DVD, and they're not
DVD or
streaming
burn
everything.
disc. Yeah,
You
Yep.
know,
And you
so
got to
it's
remember, we're so spread out compared to a lot of other countries, right? I mean, a lot of other countries, your whole house is the size of probably your bedroom, Don. You probably have a bedroom
yeah,
larger than
that's
most
true.
people's entire home. So their TVs or a large TV is 32-inch. So in that instance, you don't even need 4K.
No, I
1080p
understand.
is all you need,
Yeah,
It's like it's all perspective, and that's what's cool about the hobby. You can literally, enjoy a DVD on your 32-inch tube TV and your, if it fit. They probably have flat panels, to be honest, to
Showing
save
my
space.
focals to Chana. Hey, what's
Oh
up, Ted?
yeah.
Thanks for being in the chat. Yeah, those are the Focal Batiste. So thank you for noticing.
Bathies,
The backies.
Bathies.
Oh man. But yeah, and then people probably rent and stuff like that. It's easier, I mean,
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
there's a whole movie industry, that basically relies on DVD sales outside of Hollywood. That alone is just market. Like
yeah,
in terms of maybe not movie numbers, but Bollywood, just in terms of who they can reach, is bigger than Hollywood, man. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, but they're
So
not doing 4K Blu-ray discs,
no, a
yeah.
lot of the studios are probably not, but also like,
and they're not streaming
And I
everything.
mean, even me, I went from 125-inch. Even at the 125-inch screen, I mean, I don't think if you were honest with yourself and you walked in and you walked out and it changed from 4K, the color was different because of some of the tone
mm,
mapping. But as far as the resolution, if you were honest with yourself, you wouldn't be able to tell. Now I can tell on the 150. Now, is it bad enough to where it's like, oh God, I can't watch 1080p? No. I mean,
No.
you can tell though. In this instance, if you walked out and then walked back in, okay, which one is this? And you were thinking about it, you could tell. Now, if you weren't thinking about it, even then, you wouldn't.
I won't watch a TV show that's not 4K. I can see a difference 1,000%. I don't even want to watch sports that aren't in 4K anymore.
mm,
See,
I have
that's
YouTube
why
TV.
that's why I watch it
Man,
on the
how
OLED.
close are you
That's
sitting to
why I
your
watch it on the
TV, man?
OLED. I don't watch it in the media room. I go watch it on the OLED TV. Like
Okay, so my
I'm not
vision,
watching
I
Hulu
have
in the
20
media room.
vision, so I have better than normal vision. So I can see, you know, down. I can definitely see a
Oh,
difference.
that's why you say it's so big. It's closer. It looks
Exactly.
closer.
I didn't say I
Don't
was
consider
farsighted.
angels, man.
2 inches looks way bigger whenever you're a foot
It's
away.
like,
Don, the Avengers called.
Yeah. Well, and for that would make sense. That's a use case where, shoot, you might even be able to see 8K again. If you got a 25 vision, yeah. So but for normal people,
For
it's
normal people, yeah. No, I mean, I
yeah.
can definitely tell a difference. Yeah, if I walk into a room and you put up a Blu-ray and the same thing in 4K, I can definitely tell the difference.
But
Right
would that be because you're watching it on your larger screen? Because I watch some of those types of contents on the
That's
OLED.
my
Like,
77-inch TV.
Well, is what I'm saying. Well, now I'm
You
you will
guys are
be able to
making me
tell
feel like I
you
have
will be able to
walleye
tell a
vision.
difference, but you will be able to tell a difference in the color though.
yeah, the
I'm telling
color
you right
obviously.
now, if you stopped looking at the color, if you changed both of them to black and white, it depends on how close you are. I don't think you would be able to tell as
What?
much. If just regular though, yes, because your 4K is going to introduce HDR or Dolby Vision. So right away, you're going to be able to tell the difference. I'm not saying you can't tell the difference. I'm talking about as far as we're talking resolution is what I'm talking about. But yes, you can absolutely tell. And I did give that caveat. I said excluding the color, the tone mapping, aka the color, that yes, you can tell. You will be able to tell. But if you're just honest with yourself and you're looking at resolution, I mean, there's science that's done on it. You can look it up. There's many of research papers on it and how close you have to be, the size of the screen before you can actually tell. And in all these tests, they neutralize the color. That's what you're really looking at. You're looking at the color, so you feel like it gives you a perceived better depth, but the viewed resolution is the same. Now it may be a little bit different if, for people that have much, much better than standard 20/20 vision, but they've done tons of research. You could just Google it, how like, I think your eyes can only go up to, I forgot what it is, like 20K max or something like that. And that's at, right in your face type of deal. So the further you go back, the less that really matters. So
Yeah, as
8K,
I'm getting older, this is getting blurry, right? So
Thank you,
yeah.
Michael. Thank you, Michael.
getting
Yes, I measure
farther
with my
away, I'm still
ears
perfectly
and
fine.
eyes.
I measure from the Tucson. I measure from the taint, so don't worry about it. So no, but it's I like, you may be correct in the color and as far as the actual resolution. But my TV that I have, it's actually an older TV. It doesn't even have Dolby Vision. It does have HDR. It's the Sony 900E. I've not upgraded to not a plasma, but an OLED or anything like that yet. So it's just a backlit LED, and I have one of the first Samsungs that's in my bedroom. That is one of the first 4K UHD Samsungs that came out. So I'm, like I said, I can definitely see a difference. I can walk into a room and tell, and that's even when I'm going to Best Buy or anywhere else. I can look at it and tell a difference. So
I mean, you can tell a difference, but is it bad that you really can't sit down and watch it? Because like I watch BritBox, and it's like old school British shows. Those things are probably shot in like 280p,
Dude,
old school.
I have difficulty watching any shows that are not at least DVD quality or 1080p quality. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do it. It just drives me insane.
Oh, man.
Yeah, on the 150, man, that regular standard, it takes a little bit. You got to watch it with you got to watch it for a little bit, to get used to it. Because that it's like, wow,
Like I
that's
said, when I'm
bad.
watching, so I subscribe to the Sunday Ticket, right? So if I'm
As far
watching
as like a regular 480p is what I'm talking about.
I want, if the game's played in 4K on Fox 4K through YouTube TV, I want to watch it in that. I don't want to watch it in 1080p.
Yeah, I think any normal person would want to do that, but I'm saying if it happens to be in 1080p, for me, it doesn't necessarily destroy my experience. Like,
No, it
you
drives
know,
me insane.
right?
It
Video
drives,
file.
and I'm
I
not,
like
to
to
be
consider
honest with you.
myself a video file more than an audio file, but I'm like, then I'll go
Yeah.
watch it on OLED than go watching it on my 137 diagonal screen, right? I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it here.
Yeah. There's
So now that
sliding
we're talking
scale,
about
I guess.
resolution, one thing that I'm going to steal shamelessly from living with Scott and Kat, he asked me like what was my favorite Atmos scene, but I'm going to shift to movies. One thing that we haven't talked about in this, which is what we all do this hobby for, movies and TV shows, right?
Yep.
So what was
Well, not everybody. A lot of people just do it for the gear.
yeah.
Yeah,
So what was Ike? What was the last movie that you watched?
that guy that. No. The other
And
guy
it for the
that
sound,
he
yeah.
does it just for the gear. The last movie that I watched, man, Jesus Christ, it was Black Hawk Down.
Black Hawk Down. That's your
Yeah.
go-to, right?
Movie. That's a good one.
That's like my go-to movie, man. But I'm more of a TV show guy. Like I watch a lot of TV shows.
Sound
Like
off in the chat what your last movie was. Techno Dad's Barbie, Braveheart, Gladiator collection. Nice.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, also for the soundtrack, because one of them is Hans Zimmer, the other one's John Williams. So even there, I'm watching movies, but I'm calling out the composers for the music. So even if I'm watching
Yep.
movies, I'm still listening to the sound quality.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their passion. That's a good, gosh, if you know that. Like I'm horrible with names, so like I know people know like directors, composers,
yeah,
producers.
I don't do all that.
I'm
Man.
like I don't know, the one person with the
Yeah, I don't do that, man. I don't sit down like, oh yeah, you gotta know the direct. I do the scores though. I like the scores. I think one of the best scores that I've ever. If you guys ever seen the TV show The Medici Florence, Masters of Florence. Man, you guys, it's on Netflix, man. You guys need to go watch anything Medici. That's like the best. It is well done. It's great, but the score on that stuff is better than what many people think is. Hans Zimmer or whatever. It is good. Medici Masters of Florence.
It's a show. What's it called?
The Medici, about the Medici family. So
okay, I got it.
Shauna put it in there how to spell it or whatever, but
I don't watch anything
assuming
new, but
he knows how to spell.
I bought a class.
I like to look.
You've listened to the score on that stuff, right? The soundtrack is crazy, man.
I like to look at Margot Robbie in 4K too. So I hope you didn't watch that Barbie and DVD.
Saying some magic
I
words
did
over
watch
there.
that. I did watch that in 4K. I wanted to see all the colors of the pink.
The Barbie movie? Oh, I thought you were talking about that one scene in Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Sorry.
I tell you what.
Now do we need 8K or what?
She looked phenomenal in Tarzan too. I mean, she looked really
in
good.
everything, honestly.
Yeah. So, Paul, what about you? What's your last movie that you viewed?
The last one I watched was the Ballads of Songbird and Snake.
Okay.
Which was actually which is actually pretty the prequel Hunger Games movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the new Hunger Games that just came out.
Yeah. That one was actually pretty good.
So you went to the movies to see that, or did you watch it on digital? Because I think it just came out on digital, right?
No, I got the disc.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's out. I watch them.
I didn't realize. Oh yeah, I did see it in Walmart the other day. You're right, I did see it there.
So,
Scott, what about you, sir?
The last one I watched, I put in Baby Driver and fell asleep. But
That's
great
Well,
movie. I've seen it a bunch of
that's a
times.
great review right there.
Well, no. So to put it in perspective, I've watched it many times, and I put it in because I've seen it many times, and it was late at night. But I did buy a classic movie that I have coming in on Friday, so I bought the Big Lebowski in 4K.
oh
Oh
nice.
my gosh.
So it's been years since I watched.
Uh,
Longer than years. It's been a very long time since I watched it, but
I did
so
watch
kinda excited to rewatch.
the Fifth Element whenever it came out in 4K. My
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
gosh, the bass in that movie is
Yeah.
bombastic.
movie.
It's like it's too hot. It's
It's
like
warm.
wow.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah,
It's a very
that's
underrated movie. I don't hear very many people talking about that movie at all, but it was fantastic.
mhm.
Somebody was talking about the Abyss was like super bass heavy too. I think it was AV Nirvana. Todd was talking about.
The original Abyss?
They
Yeah,
re-released it, I think, didn't
yeah,
it's
yeah.
in 4K now, right?
Yeah.
He's got
The
like a
Hunger what
called.
was the we know Baby Driver. What did you say you watched, Ike? How was the sound on
Black Hawk Down. Sound always
Oh,
good.
you watched the
Yeah.
older. Okay, yeah, everyone does
That's
that.
a
Okay.
There's a
great.
4K
Yeah,
update for that as well.
I watched
Yeah.
the 4K update, man. The 4K
Yeah.
update is even more impressive, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh
they
yeah, you
updated
can
the
literally feel. It's almost like you can feel the bullets just whiz past you sitting on your couch.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
heard that same thing about Private Ryan too. So if you got Private Ryan,
Yes.
the beginning scene,
Yep.
that is a phenomenal scene.
Lone
The thing
Survivor,
the
I'm going to
thing-
add to that list.
Yeah, the thing with Black Hawk Down is like it's the entire movie. You know, most of the other movies, right? People like pinpoint, oh, you gotta
Yes.
get this particular scene. Black
Yep.
Hawk Down is like from the
Yep.
start to the finish. It's
Yep.
crazy. The soundtrack.
It's except for one scene at night where
yeah, where it's
they
like
have
yeah.
that talking, but the whole movie is just tense, and
Yeah,
gunfire and
it's chaotic,
explosions.
man. It's like
Yeah.
helicopter blades, bullet explosive, someone is screaming in pain, and it's like it's so clear.
Mhm.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah. So Michael says he wants to see the Abyss also. Techno Dad agrees that Private Ryan is great.
DTS
Mike
hacks,
also
yeah.
talking about
The Hunger Game one's audio was there wasn't anything that stood out. The movie and the storyline was decent. I don't know the books, but other than that, it wasn't anything that I would be like demo worthy. But
But is
it's
anyone going to see the new Dune? I think it's supposed to come out
I was
today, right?
getting to that.
oh
Yes.
yeah, I
I
heard
will
that.
be going to
I
see
heard
it.
that's
I'll wait.
really good. I heard it was really good.
Yeah. A lot of the critics liked it, which that could be yes or no, right? Because some of the stuff the critics like, the general
Mhm.
public does not like. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 but I did hear that was very good. So I'll just give my movie that I watched last was I actually watched Migration in 3D in the theater. That's
Nice.
a movie for kids.
Yeah,
As you guys know, I'm still building a theater, so I got a lot of movies on the backlog that I'm not watching. So
oh man,
but,
yeah.
but I will take the kid to go watch a movie, and we're definitely going to go see.
Oh wow, Michael, that's crazy. Sorry, I was reading that
Okay.
comment.
UH-60 pilot? My goodness.
Wow.
I wonder how the new. I heard Platoon is supposed to be released, so I'm curious how that
re-release?
will sound. Yeah, I mean I think it's still going to be
Yeah,
a 5.1 mix, but
I thought they already redid Platoon.
did they?
Probably a few times in different versions. A lot of the most recent updates are for the sound.
Now, but I might be confusing the two with Apocalypse Now and
Right.
Platoon, but because they're but no, yeah. So my last movie was 3D Migration, and I'm waiting for that to come out in 3D. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to buy that from overseas, from somewhere, because it probably won't be released in the U.S. for 3D. I'm hoping that they have one, but It has some really good scenes for 3D, like stuff flying at you and everything else like that. Sound wise, wasn't the greatest, but it was a cute movie for the kids.
Yeah.
So Paul, I had to look this up for you since you said the Platoon was already out. So it looks like it might be just a different like Steelbook or something that's coming out. But Amazon actually sells the VHS tape if you're interested. $14.77.
Yeah.
That's an expensive VHS tape, man. $14.
Dang. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're just at about 2.5 hours, so I think we're going to go ahead and call it for the evening. Want to thank everybody for being in the chat. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please reach out via email to hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. I messed that up on Scott's show the other day. I said at Google, but I tried to correct it.
Just Gmail, right?
Google. Yeah.
Yeah, people know Gmail. There's no google.com email.
So please make sure that you go over to Scotty O's channel and subscribe to him. Sci-Phonics Audio also. Go over and like and subscribe, all their stuff. Thank everyone for joining the panel tonight, Kanga and Scott and Paul. Appreciate you guys. Once again, please, as Ike said, we're trying to build the channel, so please like and subscribe to EasyHT Tech. Also, subscribe to Horizon Home Theater, like and share the videos. Until next Thursday, we'll see you around.
And we will have a guest next week. Bye.